thanks to Tony for allowing me to be here tonight. And every time I've been here, I think I've seen many of you same people here. So this is obviously a place that people come to because they feel comfortable here. And so it's an honor to be here to share cigars. So about a year and a half ago, I was down in Nicaragua, and I met I was down with a friend of mine who has a small cigar factory, manufacturing facility in Esteli. And he's wanted to get back into the community where his factory is. And so he asked me when I come down and help kind of get to know some of the locals to help determine what their needs are. You know, on the outside we look and we say, well, they don't have running water, so that's a good start. Most didn't have electricity, that's a good start. So we got to looking and talking and figuring some of those things out. But in the process, he asked me, he said, well, why don't we blend some cigars for you to sell back in the States to support the work you do on the reservations? Because after I got out of the music industry, like Tony was delivered from the music industry as well. Been down that road.
Tony's a legend.
He is.
In his own mind.
So after I got out of music, I started a nonprofit organization, and we do humanitarian work and ministry work on Native American reservations throughout the U.S. and Canada. And so the thought was, let's sell some cigars, blend them, sell them to support this work. Well, in the process, my friend said after dinner one night in Nicaragua, he said, I've got a surprise. We're going to have cigars with a guy named Arsenio Ramos. When I didn't realize at the time, but Arsenio was kind of this legendary guy in the Cuban cigar world. You know, he was 83 at the time, started smoking cigars when he was 10 years old. His father and grandfather both raised tobacco, rolled cigars. In the 60s, Arsenio was rolling cigars for Castro. So he's, come on in. Yeah, we're just getting started.
What's gonna help you?
You know, for most of Arsenio's life, all he did was raise tobacco, roast cigars, and he was a part of a lot of the early Cahiba parties. He was a part of those blends back in the 60s and 70s, and is again, he's kind of legendary in that Cuba cigar world. But I don't know this. All I know is this guy. So we're sitting here talking, and through a translator, because I didn't speak Spanish, he doesn't speak English. Turns out he is totally infatuated with Native Americans. So from the time he was little, he would read everything he could about the Native Americans, battles, great chiefs, all this stuff. So the whole time he was intrigued by who I was and our story, because he'd never met an Indian before. And so then through the course of the evening, everybody's vying for his time, but he only wants to talk Indian stuff. And I kind of started realizing, man, this guy is kind of a big deal, right? Because everybody's wanting his time. And so I finally just said, you know what? You know, we're blending these cigars, going to sell them, going to support the work we do on reservations. I said, and I would be honored. Trouble has arrived.
Rhino.
And I said, so I'd be honored if you'd consider blending our cigars for us, so that we could, you know, and my friend who was translating looked at me and said, you really want me to ask this man to blend your cigars? And I thought, well, yeah, right? And then he kind of slowly turned his head, and when he asked the question, everybody in the room kind of stopped and looked right at me like, dude, what are you doing? And then he asked the question to him, and Arsenio got this big smile on his face and said, I'll be honored to blend your cigars. So Arsenio blended 4 different cigars for us. These 2 we have tonight are 2 of those cigars. Sadly, he passed away about 3 months ago, Arsenio did. And as you would know, I mean, been smoking cigars since he was 10 years old. You know, and the master blender at Casa Fernandez, another brand that a lot of you guys may know, but didn't die of lung cancer. Right? And that's how it works sometimes. And so, anyway, so the cigars we have, Atsiniki is my name in the Blackfoot language, means storyteller. The 2 blends we have, my wife and I have 8 children. So these are named after 2 of our children. So Nanaya is this lighter colored one with the Connecticut wrapper, means peace. Maya is the other one that means victory. got a little bit more of a kick to it. And so thank you guys for coming out and smoking our cigars, and we're going to be here all evening and having fun. So if you have any questions, I'll be here all night. I may be closing the place down, Tony.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Late tonight.
Works for me. You got cigars, I'm good.
Yeah, we're not lacking in cigars tonight, are we?
Nope.
And we
So I
have-
missed that, so could you go over it all one more time just for me?
We got video, you can just watch.
You got video from,
Yes.
yeah,
So Tony and I have a mutual friend who used to play at the Tennessee Titans and that went to Purdue, and named Bernard Pollard, who may be coming by tonight. He said he has another event, but if he can get by, he said he's going to try and swing by. And that's our Purdue connection.
that's right. Yeah, so Charles, his charity obviously does great work and everything, but the way I met Charles, he started, obviously when you start a company, you kind of start in your backyard. With him being in Nashville, he kind of made the rounds to cigar lounges, and he came in here and sat right at that table. And we started talking, and we found out that we had some people we knew in common. And then he talked about, he does a thing at a school where he dances on their Native American Day. And happened to mention it was Christ Presbyterian, which is where my kids go to school. Turns out it's only the first graders that they do that for. And my youngest happened to be in first grade, so we were able to hook up down there. I took the day off, made Ron work. And
Been trying to show up.
made Ron
You know, you don't have to stay.
So it
I
was,
don't have to stay.
it was a great presentation because Charles brought 3 of his children with, and he brought a lot of items,
Yeah,
I guess, from the
artifacts.
Native American history and things like that, and talked about what life was like on a reservation. Got the kids up dancing with you and all that, which is really cool. And I've got video of that. If anybody wants to see it, I'm happy to show it to you. And it was a pretty cool thing. You've been doing it for at least a decade now,
Yeah,
right?
17 years.
17 years, which is pretty awesome.
Thank you.
Yep. So a real good guy, some really nice cigars. I know you're expanding your line here coming up. I don't know if you talked about this already.
Well, I didn't. So in early spring, we'll have a new cigar come out. It's going to be a Toro size with a San Andreas wrapper on it. It's going to have a little more of a little spice, a little more of a kick to it.
Yay.
And so yeah, that'll be out in early spring.
Gotcha. We're also going to do some raffles tonight for some Atsiniki swag, and we got pizzas coming, and we've got another special treat. And I don't mean to steal any of your thunder, but Shell McLaughlin, as many of you know, is from South Africa, and she asked me if she could bring in. I believe, are they traditional Christmas pies, or are they just normal South
Just a
African?
normal South
Every day
African.
we have pie in South Africa. They are, strawberry is a little more pink than the vanilla, just so you know.
Hey, Tony,
Yeah.
I hear that they pair really well with Atsiniki cigars.
Yes, they do. I did that on
That's
purpose.
why you did this at this event. Very, very smart. That's
Astute
I have
of you.
moments.
That was it for the year.
That was it.
Whoops, he's done.
That's been a nice night. Thank you, guys.
So feel free to.
Dude. Does your blender, having passed away, does that affect your availability or ability to expand?
Well, we have the 4 blends that we have the 4 blends that he developed for us. So we're good with those for now. You know, when we expand from all the details on the entire recipe.
And you just distribute locally here or here?
Right now, we're mainly in Middle Tennessee. We're up in the Chicago area. We have a couple of places up there, a couple down in Texas, but primarily right here in Middle Tennessee.
You know, it's great. She has something made to get into cigars. 26 people in my house.
You know, having been in music and sales and Rainbow and New Ranch, and I've done a lot of stuff in my life. And the thing that I've always enjoyed about cigars is this right here, because I mean, it's not often that I sit in the backyard and have a cigar by myself. It's normally with other people. So the motto of our cigar company is to discover common ground. So this time a year ago, I was at, had the opportunity to meet with the Pope. So it was at the Vatican. It was myself, had an...
Really?
So it was myself, there was an East Indian guy who was from Australia, a Brazilian guy, and then a white guy. And so the four of us, completely different ethnicities, backgrounds, everything, coming together to talk with the Pope on issues of social justice. And to me, the key was, with all the things we can focus on that make us different, we're better served by focusing on things that we have in common. And that's what that discover common ground is. And so that's kind of always been my passion with cigars, is coming in here and getting to hang out and meet new people, regardless of what people do for a living or you know, where they've been, what's going on in their life, is that one thing we have in common, and we can settle in over that.
Did he burn one with you?
No. Bring some. I was thinking, I wonder if.
Pontiff does not smoke cigars. All right.
So I don't think I didn't want. I thought, wouldn't it be great if I could somebody snapped a picture of me and the Pope with our cigar? Didn't quite make it that far. So yeah, it was fun.
Charles knows everybody. I just kind of learned this. Every time I see him, there's somebody else that you know.
Well, and we know so many of the same people. So many.
We're kind of a big deal, Charles. So smoke up and enjoy. Again, food should be here in about 15 minutes. And I'm sure Charles will be making the rounds.
Yeah.
Tony, what are the requirements for a ticket? How many do you get?
Raffle, yeah.
For the raffle tickets?
So raffle tickets, I think I'm just going to give a raffle ticket to everybody that's here. I think that's just going to be easy, except for Ron.
Except for Luna. He always
Luna,
wins.
yeah, Luna wins all the time, so there's that.
Well, have we talked about my latest victory?
Yeah, let's talk about Ron's chili again.
Yeah, hold on, I didn't win that one.
So as far as raffles, let's just do it that way. As far as deals, buy 4, get 1 free, buy 10, get 3 free, buy a box, 7 free, or and a shirt.
Yeah.
Does that sound good?
Whatever we have left.
Whatever we have left. I don't know if Charles mentioned it earlier, but he was up in Chicago doing a cigar event, and deadheading back and forth and everything, so he's a little tired, so he may get a little more, you know, creative with stuff as we run low.
Yeah. And the more bourbon I drink, the more I just like to give stuff away.
First round, right?
I'll be in the humidor giving stuff away also.
By 8 o'clock, the keys to the store will be given away.
You're not a brand snob. You'll give anything away out of
He prefers to give for no
Hey, Tony, don't mess with him. Don't mess with him. He knows the Pope.
That's right.
And if you stay tuned to Cigar Smoking Vets 2, the Deuce, we will be reviewing both of the Atsiniki cigars in the new year, in 2019. Because something that's coming up, we'll break the news. Well, break news, what are we? Freaking Fox News or CNN or what? We'll let y'all know on what's going on after Christmas. Why we're going to have a little bit more time. It's not all bad news, so don't think anything like that. So stay tuned. Within the first couple weeks of the new year, we'll have both of the Atsinikis reviewed right here on CSV2, the Deuce. Happy smoking.
Well, you know, I used to